Are you gonna have wine too?
I'm not gonna drink wine.
You know?
I'll pour myself a whiskey. Yeah, I just stick with bourbon on the rocks.
So just bourbon and ice?
Bourbon and ice. This one is Maker's Mark. It's my go-to. If I'm gonna be slow drinking bourbon, it's gonna be Maker's Mark.
So this is Tavernello and it's organic. So I was drinking rosé a lot, but it's full of sugar.
Yes, it is.
So I did not know that. And I did not know until
me when.
recently I'm allergic to red wine.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, which means I cannot have rosé.
Yeah, because rosé's just a
red and
mix,
white.
red and white mixed together.
I did not know that. I was like, how do you get the rosé color?
It's a special rosé grape. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink wine, it's gonna be red wine.
Really?
And I'm also very picky about my wine. So
too.
I typically only like French Bordeaux
Okay.
or Spanish Tempranillos. Arizona's wine is pretty legit though. I filmed a TV show as segment for this winery up in Cornville, Arizona, which is near Sedona. He talked about that type of stuff. He's like, we don't put any additives in ours. Like it's all natural. Like we did a whole tour of the winery. Like it was really cool. And it was some of the
Nice.
best stuff I ever had.
Interesting.
In Arizona, we have those massive temperature spikes where it can, be a 40-degree swing one way or the other. And so that helps the roots get down deeper, which makes for a sweeter grape. And so it makes the wine just a little bit better in the way.
How did I not know about this?
It's so fun. And it's just a couple hours north of here.
By Sedona, so Cornville?
Yeah, Cornville. Yeah,
Okay.
just south
I
of
need to Google
Sedona.
this when I get home.
Check out my TV episode.
What? Maybe I'll pull it.
Top it off. Take the
Top it off a
bottle
little
with you. I
bit.
don't give a shit.
Why not?
We're getting into it now. Welcome to Happy Hour. Well, Amber Parker, welcome
Hi.
to Happy Hour with HatchMan. Gotta do our little cheers here.
Cheers.
So make it official.
All right.
That was a good one. We met in one of my social media classes
Yes, with Alexa.
with Alexa. Alexa's the best.
Yes, I love her.
She's amazing.
Yes.
So, real estate, you've been a real estate agent for, you said, 5 years now? Mm-hmm. Why'd you get into real estate?
So it happened after COVID.
Okay.
A lot of people probably don't want to hear this, but I was worried about my husband getting forced to get the jab. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time.
Okay.
And I was worried about him getting forced to do that, and we are very against it.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going to go to real estate school, and if the time comes where you're forced to do that, then you're going to quit your job, and I'm going to take over. It's kind of like a safety net.
A preemptive strike. So what does your husband do?
He works for Leslie's Pools.
Oh, no way. Okay.
And he has his own business. He does the equipment installation.
Equipment installation.
Yes. So he's like the plumbing and all that stuff.
Nice.
But his little side business, he does the chemicals and all that.
Oh, cool. Like monthly pool cleaning?
Uh-huh. My husband is really good with the chemicals.
Okay.
And all that. And a lot of people go in there and they sweep the pool out, and then their pool turns green, and
Yep.
My husband's really good with the chemicals.
Ah, that's good.
So yeah,
He just they send a new guy, I feel like every week. It's like some new kid, and that's all he does. He just goes in there, sweeps, does the little thing.
My husband knows what he's doing.
Okay. Well, we need to chat about
Yeah.
that. So, got a good connection. So.
Yeah, so we were just like, we're not sure what's going on right now. So I went to real estate school, and I loved it.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
What did you love about it?
Well, at the time, I was like, I wanted just flexibility.
Yeah.
But we all know there's really no flexibility in real estate.
And you learned the hard way that it just means you work all the time.
Weekends, weekends are my busiest time, Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So, really weekends, for me, the most important thing is being there to pick up my son from school.
Yeah.
So it gives me the flexibility to do that.
Absolutely. How many kids do you have?
One. I just have one.
Oh, just one.
Yeah,
Okay,
13-year-old.
nice.
Yeah.
13-year-old.
Of course, when I got my license, like, I'm going to become rich. I'm going to be my own boss and not have to answer to anybody. But I answer to my broker.
Yeah.
I answer to my broker. I'm also on her team. So she's my team lead. So she tells me, keeps me on my toes.
Are you from here originally, or where are you from?
I'm from California.
From California?
Yeah.
What part of California?
Orange County.
Orange County. Okay. What part of Orange County?
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Ah, Disneyland.
Anaheim. Gwen Stefani.
Right. That's so cool.
Yeah, so she lived right across the street from me, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani did?
Uh-huh.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right across the street in the neighborhood right across the street. Yeah, she's a little older than me, but so my younger brother is in a punk band, And he hung out with Sublime and all the guys.
What?
And so Sublime used to have band practice in my living room when I was in high school.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, that is really cool.
Yeah. So
punk
at the
band?
time, I didn't really know who Sublime was. They weren't popular yet, you know?
So you like knew Sublime before they were
Sublime.
That's really cool.
So they would have band practice in my living room.
What?
My brother was straight edge.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
I do. I know exactly what straight
I was a
means.
stoner.
Yes.
So I would be on the porch with my friends smoking joints.
Yeah.
Amber's on the porch smoking joints, you know? So I, in return, when he was sneaking band practice in the living room, would call my mom, his name's Gabe.
Gabe.
We call him Gabby, though. It's a girl's name, but we grew up calling him Gabby. He's having band practice. All the guys are here in the living room. We didn't get along when we were kids. It was when we became young adults.
A stoner, so.
Exactly, right?
Do you go back to California very often? Or do you still have family there?
My family has officially left.
Oh, okay.
My mom passed away 2017. My dad left about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So when my dad left, that made it harder for me to go to California. He lived in Moreno Valley. I don't know if you know where that is. He lived in Moreno Valley, which is right before Orange County.
Yep.
So I would drive here from Arizona, stop at his house, hang out. I usually would stay there, and then I could go back and forth between Orange County and his house.
That's cool.
But he's not there anymore. It's my hometown. It's not a vacation place for me. So for me to go there and spend a week and spend that money on hotels is just stupid.
Sure.
It's my home.
It's not a vacation for you.
It's not a vacation for me.
There, right?
Yeah.
I get that.
So, but yeah, no, I don't really go back that often anymore. I think maybe soon I might.
Yeah.
When things change
Sneak
a
a
little
trip.
bit.
It's not too bad. So I've got my parents are in California right now. So
Well, gas prices. I have friends out there still. My best friends are out there. So gas prices are, last time I talked to my friend, I don't know, 3 days ago, a little under $7 a gallon.
It's probably up to like almost $7 a gallon. It's crazy. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Arizona my whole life. So.
Oh, really? You're from Arizona?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
from Arizona. One of the few. There's not many of us natives out here. I grew up in northern Arizona, which is a little bit different than here in the valley. Oh yeah. No, you're good. Real estate. This is it. Where our phones are going off all the time.
know.
So it's a good thing, right?
Yes. What client is this?
Right. So do you typically help like buyers or sellers mostly?
Buyers usually.
Okay, on the buy side of things.
I'm a buyer's person. I do have listings right now. It's fine, but they're kind of, to me, listings are a little boring.
Okay.
Because you list them and then they sit there and you just,
Right.
you know, you don't really get to know your client a whole lot when it's a seller, you know.
Just have like the one meeting and then sell
pretty
the house and then
much.
that's it.
You know,
So,
my buyers I've become really good friends with.
Yeah.
You know, all my buyers, like, we are really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we're not client realtor anymore. We're friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I like
spending a lot of
side.
time with them. You're showing houses. You're talking to them all the time. So
Yeah.
It's a whole different
I like the buying
relationship. Okay.
I know a lot of realtors, like my broker Mara. She loves being a listing agent.
Right.
And it's all great, but I like working with buyers.
You like working with buyers. Okay, that's good. Because not all realtors do, right? Like
They don't.
It is a time-consuming, like, you know, it's something that you really have to dedicate a lot of energy towards is when you're helping home buyers because you could be driving them all around all day long, every single day, and you never find the right one.
I mean, you never know how it's going to end. You know, I had a buyer what was it, March? And we drove around for a couple weeks out in Apache Junction.
Oh, yeah.
And I found the perfect place for them. I felt something was off.
Oh, yeah.
So we walked out of the viewing of the perfect house for them to tell me, we decided we're not quite ready yet.
See, this is the side of real estate that not everybody sees. Like it's just all the time and energy, gas money, you know, everything's out of pocket until they close a deal, right? So it's just, you do have to love this business, I feel like.
And I do.
And be a little bit crazy too, right? Like we're not normal people.
No. No.
But isn't it fun though? Like I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No.
Like you said, being able to have the flexibility of working nonstop all the time. But
I was in dentistry for 20 years before this.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
like a dental hygienist or?
No, just a dental assistant.
Dental assistant.
Just a dental assistant.
Crazy story. I would not be here if it were not for a dental hygienist. which is pretty crazy. So when I was living in my hometown of Holbrook, trying to figure out how I was going to get out, I was working at a bank at the time, and I wanted to leave my hometown. It's hard to get out of that small town.
You're right,
so,
yeah.
And I was getting my teeth cleaned, and my dental assistant, she mentioned that her son was living here in Mesa, and he had an extra room available for rent that he was renting out. And so I was like, well, how much is he charging? She's like, oh, $500 a month. I was like, I could swing that.
Yeah.
And so that's what got me to like move out of my parents' house, like move into the valley. I was working at the bank I was working for. I was just looking for like a transfer job to, you know, something else, and ended up getting a job in Apache Junction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because of my dental assistant. That's who helped find me the house, which got me
That's good.
kicked off me living in the valley. And it was that idea. He was a pilot. And so he was never at the house. Like he was literally flying to California like once a week, and then he would come back on Sundays, stay for a couple hours, and then fly back.
Yeah.
And there was just a bunch of us dudes living in this house. And so I was like doing the math one day. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm paying $500. This guy's paying $500. The other two, I was like, that's $2,000 a month.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And that's what got me the idea to buy my very first house. And so, because I was 21 at the time.
When you bought your first house?
23. I ended up buying a house 2 years later.
That's good.
But it was that idea that caused me to do it. I was like, yeah, I could do that.
I was 36.
If I bought like a 4-bedroom house and charged everybody $500-$600 a month, you know, that's back when home prices were a lot cheaper. It was 2009. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what kicked it all off. Was my dental assistant's son was living in the valley, had a room to rent. So
funny. Yeah, we're talking about
So
prices. Random. I bought mine in 2014.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, 2014, 160,000.
160, and you're in Santan, right? And that's where I bought. So I bought in Santan before it was Santan. It was still Queen Creek back then.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I bought in 09.
What year was that? 09?
09. Yeah.
Okay.
So because it was like a year or two later, it turned into
Is Santan a new
Valley.
city, or?
It was an unincorporated township, is what they had it with initially. But when I first bought out there, it was called Queen Creek. And I remember when I was working with my real estate agent, I was trying to find a house because I was only qualified for 150. That's all I could afford. It was 150 grand.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at like townhouses and condos in Mesa, and there was tons of foreclosures back then because it was 2009.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't really find anything that I liked. And so she's like, hey, there's this new build development out in Queen Creek. I was like, where the hell's Queen Creek?
This house right here? This house?
No. It was the first house that I bought.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's what got me out there. And that was back when they were giving away houses, man. Like,
like when I bought mine.
Yeah, it was a USDA, so I got zero
Mine was
down.
a USDA too.
Yeah, USDA.
Yeah.
And the builder was offering a free 3-2-1 buy down incentive. So the interest rate was 3% lower for the first year, 2% lower for the second year, and 1% lower for the third year. And so it was such a smoking deal. Like my first year payment was $800 a month to live in that house.
Yeah, mine was 9.
Yeah, it was like 8 and then $950, and then it went to like, you know, $1150 or something.
After they
like that, so.
adjust everything and all that stuff. Yeah,
I remember, and it was a brand new house. It was a spec home, and so like I didn't get to like pick anything out or do anything. It was just like, here it is. But it was great. 3 bedrooms with a den. You know, not a lot of yard because they were just packing them in at that point.
Right.
But, Skyline Ranch in Santan Valley. You know where that is?
Yeah, I know where that is.
So that was my first house, was in Skyline Ranch. So.
All right, I'm in Santan Heights. Do you know where that is?
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. You know where Santan Flat is?
Of course. Yeah,
right there.
Steakhouse.
It's the next light. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a 5-year plan when we bought the house.
Yeah.
In 2014.
2014.
We had a 5-year plan, but we kind of lucked out with the neighbors.
That's good.
Our son was just a baby, you know, a little toddler at the time, and so all the friends, you know, around, you know, so we kind of lucked out with the neighbors. So here we are, we're still there.
Hey, it works though.
But it's just not my forever home.
Sure.
You know, I'm ready for something different.
That's what's tough, right? It's like, do you move now, or do you just let him get through high school and go through the whole thing? So.
Yeah, I think at this point we'll probably stay there.
Stay there.
Because, like, once he turns 18, we're out.
Right? What's next? You got any plans?
I don't know. Like, we have land in North Carolina.
Really? Okay.
I just want green.
Yeah.
Even if it's just Payson, like, I'm not sure if I want to leave Arizona. Probably not, because my career's here.
Sure.
I'm not leaving. We do have land out there to probably be a second home for vacation home.
Yeah, do a little vacation home.
But I'm thinking like Payson area. I want out of this area. I want more green, more wildlife.
There's a lot of desert up here, so
It's just all desert out here.
Payson is nice. Like,
yeah, it's just more expensive.
I'm telling you, you should check out Cornville though. That place is green rolling hills, and it's wine country. So
I'm gonna actually check it out when I get home. Pull it up on the MLS.
I'm born and raised here in Arizona, and I had never heard of Cornville until I had.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me either until I went there for the first time.
I mean, I think I might have heard of it.
Yeah.
Like it sounds a little familiar.
Sedona. Like Sedona is very popular.
Yes.
But yeah, this is like just south of Sedona, and it's crazy. It doesn't feel like Arizona. Like it's when we visited this place, there was an alpaca field right next to it with a bunch of alpacas, like green farm. Like it was so fun. Like it was such a fun little spot. Yeah. So what brought you to Arizona?
2010. And I don't know. I mean, what was I? 30, early 30s at the time, 33-ish. I was just kind of ready to buy a house and kind of get out of the craziness of Orange County.
Yeah.
It was actually a friend, my friend Consuelo, that I went to junior high and high school with. And she moved out to Arizona. She had been here for a couple years.
Yeah.
And in Gilbert. And she just kind of talked me into it, and so I was like, okay. So it was April of 2010.
Okay.
We got our little dog, our little Penny.
Yeah.
Me and my husband, we weren't married at the time, got our little dog and just drove in the car to visit her for the weekend.
Yeah.
And we went to, do you remember off of Gilbert and Germain, that little Mexican, it's totally different now, but there was a little Mexican restaurant there. It was April.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm leaving my sweater in the car? Because in California, you're cold.
Yeah.
You're freezing in April.
Once the sun goes down, it gets cold.
And I was like, wait a minute. I'm liking this. I'm not, because I don't like being cold at all, So I was like, wait a minute, it's April, and I'm like, we're going to a restaurant, we're walking around, no sweater, leave my sweater in the car. That was the first thing for me, was the warmness, because I hate being cold. So we were here for the weekends, and then I'm not sure, I don't remember what we drove around and looked at, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Drove back home, came out for a week and stayed with her, just kind of check it out more.
Yeah.
I took a vacation from my work. I'm like, I'm going to take a week vacation. And he couldn't do it. So I just did it, and I liked what I saw. I don't know. I was checking out prices and stuff. Right. And so we left our 30-day notice, packed up and moved over here.
Love it. No, haven't looked back since.
Just very quickly.
And now you love it. I feel like, I don't know, that's what life's all about, right? Like some of the best decisions I've made in my life that have led me to other cool things have just been like spur in the moment.
Yep.
Because I was feeling it, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I feel like if more people just like, I don't tend to overthink things a whole lot.
No.
Like, once it makes sense, I just go for it.
Yeah. So. I was a lot younger at the time too.
Right?
Now
that's part of it.
I don't know. I might think about it a little bit more.
We do. As we get older, we tend to overthink things.
Arizona's a good state,
It is, isn't it?
I don't know. There's something about this place, it's just very, I feel very comfortable here.
I agree.
I don't see myself leaving. We always say like we have land in North Carolina, we might end up there, but I don't think we will.
So how'd that happen? How'd you end up getting land?
We have family out. My husband's whole family is out there.
Gotcha.
And his Aunt Sandy bought acres and acres of land. And what she did with that land was she has nieces and she has a brother and a sister.
Okay.
So my husband's dad and then his Aunt Ann.
Okay.
So she decided with that land, what she was going to do with it was she wants it to all be family.
Nice.
So Brian, which is my father-in-law, has his 2 kids, and she has land for each of them, which is my husband.
So she's like parceled off a piece for everybody?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so what's new in real estate?
Yeah, let's get into real estate.
Let's talk about a little bit of real estate.
Let's get into real estate.
I like to work with out-of-states.
With out-of-state?
Out-of-state buyers. So a lot of my people have been out-of-state, relocating.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
And why is that?
I like to help them. They don't know what they're walking into, you know? So I get on with my Zoom and I show them different neighborhoods.
Okay.
You know, if you haven't been to Arizona and you don't know what you're walking into,
right,
and you're wanting me to look at a neighborhood, a house in this neighborhood, would you like to see what the neighborhood looks like?
Yeah.
The surrounding areas?
Right.
You know?
That's a good point because so many people focus on just the house, but it's like
you gotta pay attention to everything.
Is everything, right?
Pretty much all of my buyers have been out of state.
Okay.
And a lot of them have already been to Arizona, so they kind of know what the area looks like.
Yeah.
But I did have one buyer. This is my happiest relocating buyer that I had.
Love it.
It was really cool. And we're really good friends now, and I've gotten a lot of referrals from her and everything. She came from Washington, D.C.
Oh, the D.C. area.
And military. They do a lot of military.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of military.
Okay.
She didn't really know much other than Washington, D.C. and a little bit of Oceanside in California. You know, the military base out there.
Absolutely.
They need a house ASAP because they're getting transferred to Arizona.
Okay.
They don't have time to like mess around.
You got to find a place quick.
Yeah. And so a red flag for me, to be honest with you, was initially she said, I'm working with several realtors.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so what are they doing for you? And she's like, I don't know, but like, I need to find a place right away. So I was like, okay, let's just get going then, right? She wants to be very specific in Mesa.
Okay.
Pretty close to where they're getting stationed. They don't want to be anywhere out of 12 miles. And then she's kind of describing to me what exactly she wants. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really match the area, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to go look at a few houses on Zoom with you and show you the houses, show you the neighborhoods, all that, right?
Yeah.
Very quickly, we move into Queen Creek.
Really?
Yeah. She actually bought her house in Queen Creek. Yeah.
Telling you, Queen Creek's legit, man.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
And she's happy. She loves it.
So the neighborhood, so she had a specific house in mind, but that house wasn't available in Mesa, so you had to show her something in Queen Creek.
She had a location in mind. She wanted to be within 12 miles radius of that military, wherever he was stationed at, right?
And Queen Creek still fit the bill for that?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
No, it did not fit. It did not. No.
Okay. All right.
So I went out of their boundaries and I said, okay, this is what you have in the area you're looking. I'll show you what your options are.
Yeah.
You know? So I did that on Zoom, right? All the houses. I'd go out there, show the neighborhoods, all that, right?
Yeah.
And then Queen Creek, I was like, and then if you go a few miles out of what you're looking for, this is what you'll find. Found this house in Queen Creek for her. They fell in love with it and bought it and under contract. And here they are. That was 2 years ago.
Isn't that fun how that works? Like, you know, you get into these people's lives, like especially as buyers, right? Like, you know, you're really spending a lot of time with them and figuring out all of these things that they want. So yeah, you end up becoming friends with
and
them.
they don't know, like when they're coming from Washington, D.C. to Arizona, they don't know what they're walking into.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So
DC is very different than Arizona.
Yeah. So I just love showing them on video. Like I take the time and I go around and show them. I'll get like my Zoom, my camera, and I'll like do like the whole 360, you know, and just show them everything, you know, and is this something you're interested in? No. Well, then let's go to a different area then.
Yeah. So you show like neighborhoods, you show like restaurants, like what are the types of things that you
I haven't done restaurants yet.
Okay.
Really just the surrounding areas. I'll go in front of the house, I'll show like the block.
Okay.
And then I'll drive around and I'll show like the surrounding area to where you get into, how you get into that neighborhood.
Sure, yeah. I like that approach though, because you know, everybody's kind of got their own little thing that they try to find, right? And so for you, it's been people moving out of state.
Yeah, a lot of them have been out of state. Yes.
In any particular states that they're moving from, or just
no,
just anyone that's
it's really been
not from
everywhere.
Arizona.
Yeah, it's been everywhere. I mean, I've had Washington D.C., Texas, a couple California, probably mainly California.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny. So I've noticed a trend in the people that I talk to, and just you know, everyone's particular way of who they work with. And it's, you tend to help the people that you used to be, right? Like, you moved here from another state and had to kind of get to know things, and we learn things by just going through it and having that experience. And so once you've lived that experience, you are better prepared to help others go through the same thing.
Yes.
And so, that, to me, that's really what it's all about, is just, helping stuff you wish you would have known when you moved here first, right?
Yes.
Like, I wish I would have known this, or I wish I would have gone through this. So you get a chance to like redeem that for your clients, basically.
Yes. So. How are interest rates looking?
You know what? Historically,
I heard they're getting higher.
Not bad. Yeah, they've gone up. We've seen a little bit of an increase.
Your dog likes me.
She does love you. End of May here, we're probably mid sixes, low sevens. It's been a wild ride. But the question interest rates is always kind of fascinating to me, because interest rate really just means, what am I going to have to pay, right? What am I going to have to pay monthly? And so really that's the thing I try to focus on as a mortgage lender, is trying to find the right monthly payment for somebody rather than what the interest rate is. But we're in kind of a unique market right now because it is more of a buyer's market. We have a little bit more flexibility. So even though the interest rate is more on the higher end than maybe what people are used to, it gives a greater opportunity to ask for seller concessions.
Yeah.
So as a buyer's agent, do you find yourself also asking for concessions quite a bit?
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I will say that's what's cool about today's time frame, because people that, I've noticed the median age for first-time home buyers is now, I think it's high 30s now. Mm-hmm. It's like 37, 38 is the median.
I mean,
first
that was me.
home, right?
Right.
And it used to be in the 20s. And so I feel like people that are in their 20s are not even attempting to look at what their options are, because they just assume it's unaffordable.
Yeah.
Whereas take a look at the time frame that we're in right now. I think it can be more affordable if you know what's possible, right? And so if you go in to a property, instead of asking for a $10,000, $20,000 price reduction, go ahead and offer full price or near full price, and then ask for lots and lots of seller concessions.
Yes.
With an FHA loan, you can get up to 6% seller concessions. That's a lot of money. I mean, sometimes that's $30,000, $40,000 depending on the price point. So what you can do is, because closing costs are only going to be like 10 grand. So what you can do is you can ask for the closing cost to be paid via the seller concession, but then use the rest of that money to do a massive interest rate buy down, or a 3-2-1 buy down, or a 2-1 buy down, which lowers your interest rate by an entire 2-3% for the first couple of years. So I don't know. I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in today's market. It's just people aren't aware of what their options are from a lending standpoint and from, a real estate standpoint. So I always like to, ask for agents' feedback on that, because I feel like not everybody is aware of what you can do.
They aren't.
In this type of market. So as a buyer's agent, what are the types of things that you're seeing, and what do you try to negotiate for your clients to get them the best possible deal? Or do you kind of leave that to the lender?
I kind of leave that to the lender.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Oh. Do you consult with the lender before you make an offer?
Yes, for sure.
You do? Okay.
Yes, for sure. They always tell me the strongest offer to put in. They give me advice, according to my clients, what their credit's like and all that, what they can afford and what they can put on the table.
Yeah.
They tell me what the strongest offer is.
So so
every client is different.
You stay in your lane as an agent.
I stay in my lane.
I appreciate that.
I really
so
do.
Much as a lender.
I stay in my lane. I don't try to act like a lender, and I don't try to act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that stuff, because that is the lender's job.
Absolutely, no. So I'll give myself a small plug, because this is what I do that I think is different than most other lenders. Like anytime we're about to make an offer, so you're doing all your hard work, you're showing your houses, you're making the videos, you're doing everything to find the right property.
Well, I try to leave money out of it. Like that's
so once we've found the right property, that's where I like to come in and be like, okay, now that we found the house, we know what we're trying to spend on it. We know what our out-of-pocket budget is. We know what our monthly budget is. How do we make this one work?
Right.
And what's cool is when we have a specific property, then I can pull taxes. I'll even go the extra mile and call a couple of different insurance buddies and get insurance quotes, so we know exactly what that monthly payment will look like.
Exactly.
And then we can have it ready to go. So it's like, okay, here's what here's what we're going to offer. Here's how much money you're going to spend, total money out of pocket, and here's what your monthly payment's going to be.
Exactly.
So that way we take the guesswork out of it, because I feel like sometimes a lot of that happens after the fact, right?
Yes.
Once they have the house, now we've got to figure out how much it's going to cost.
And that changes everything.
It changes everything.
Exactly.
So if we can cover all of that stuff up
yes.
front, it changes the whole situation and it makes the process go a lot smoother, in my opinion.
I know a lot of realtors, and I'm not like knocking anybody at all. Of course,
yeah, we don't.
But I know a lot of realtors, they know what they're talking about as far as interest rates and all of that, and I don't. I stay in my lane.
I love that.
I'm the realtor. I'm not the lender.
As a lender, I appreciate that.
Yes. I'm sure all of them do.
There's nothing I hate more than trying to be micromanaged by a real estate agent.
And I don't know what I'm talking about. Why am I going to talk to you about interest rates? For one thing, we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to talk about interest rates. We can get fined for that.
Yes, you can.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I leave it out. That's your job.
I love that.
That's why you're here with me right now.
That's right. I'm telling you.
So how are you liking, the difference between lending and real estate? Because I know you have both licenses.
Yeah, I'm kind of a rare one. So, and you know, if we're going to get real here, a lot of it had to do with the divorce.
Okay.
My ex-wife was a real estate agent. When I first got into the mortgage side of things, I was getting really good at generating my own clients that were mostly buyers. And I was finding that most of them did not have a real estate agent that they were working with. And so monetarily, as a household, I was like, why don't you get your real estate license and I can just feed you some deals? And so that was kind of why we did it. So it just made more sense. And I also found that the clients loved the less friction, right? It's like, oh, you get pre-qualified through me. We have an agent that will find you the house. Like, it just all worked. And then we would take it the extra mile. Every time we would have a dual client that I did the loan for and she was the buyer's agent for, we would throw them a housewarming party. And so we would bring in, we would get it catered, bring in a taco truck, do this whole thing.
Okay.
And so that generated even more business. And so it was a nice little partnership, it worked really well. And so once divorce happened, I lost that side of it, which was hard. And then also for personal properties, right? Buying the property in Pine Top, it was nice to. So anyway, that was why I got the license, because I did list it with another agent who had it for a year and he couldn't get it sold. And so I decided to just get my license, and I ended up selling it for way more than any offer he was able to bring me. For me as a consumer, right, I try to think as the consumer, they try to reduce the friction of doing everything. And so when you have a lender and a realtor that work together nicely, where you can have the properties, have the payments, have everything all in one, it just makes it a lot smoother of a process.
So can I ask you, when you get a client pre-qualified, once they get to underwriting, how stressful is it from that point on?
Depends on the client. Depends on the client. I do a lot of my due diligence up front, so there should never be any surprises once we get to underwriting if I've done my job correctly. Okay. Because up front, I'm collecting everything, right? We're getting all the documents, we're verifying, we're asking all the right questions, and I do a really good job up front of collecting all of that. So by the time we get to underwriting, those should just be conditions.
That seems to be the most stressful point for people in underwriting.
It shouldn't be, though. If you've done your job right up front, those are just what I call trust but verify, right? Okay, I've trusted everything that you've said to me, now we got to prove it. Right, okay. And so then it's just proving all of those points.
Why is underwriting so stressful?
Because underwriters have to look at the risk of all of it, right? At the end of the day, it's a business. They're lending out hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of 30 years in most cases. So they need to make sure that individual is going to be able to pay that back for 30 years, because that's what their model's based off. Even though we know historically it's only going to be 5 to 10 years.
Exactly.
They're going to sell it, but they still have to be able to make that payment long term. So we have to look at, do we have proof of income that's going to be able to last? What do their spending habits look like? And the world we live in today, man, just people are spenders. It's easy to spend money right now. There's lots of things people pay for convenience. Rates are a factor as well. So it's a lot of different things. So that's why underwriting can get stressful, but But like I said, it really does depend on the client.
Right.
If you've got a very typical W-2 salaried individual with set amount of bills every month, like those are vanilla deals, right?
Right.
But then you get a self-employed individual or somebody with 3 to 4 side gigs, there are 3 to 4 businesses, and you've got a lot of different moving parts. And so it's just,
right.
there's a lot that goes into it that people just don't see.
A W-2 employee versus self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
What are the differences that you're looking for between the two?
They're massive differences. So, W-2 essentially on the underwriting world is like guaranteed income, right?
Right.
We have a pay stub. We have to have the history of it, and then we have to have, the current stuff to show like a pattern of what the income looks like. But when you're self-employed, this as a real estate agent, some months you make $20,000, $30,000. Some months you make nothing.
Right.
It's just there's a lot of variation. So the more history you have, the better. If you have a solid 2-year history of consistent income where the average over the course of the year is well over $100,000, that's good. But with most businesses, and depending on the business, if you're honestly a smart business owner, you're writing a lot of stuff off.
Right.
So on paper, on your tax returns, you have a lot of losses, or you're spending a lot more than you're making, which is, again, a smart thing to do as a business owner because that's less taxes that you pay.
Yeah.
But from an underwriting standpoint, depending on the loan type, especially if you're looking at like a government loan like an FHA, a VA, USDA, those are very scrutinized. And so they're like, oh, well, this person spends more than they're making, or they make a very little amount. But
yeah.
Compared to the bank statements, it's a different story, right? So It's just, a lot of it is finding ways to play within the rules that have been written for us. The FHA guideline book is over, I think, 800 pages. It's a lot of rules. And so it's finding a way to make it work within that. And the other nice thing is, me as a mortgage broker, I don't always have to go to the FHA or VA, especially if you're self-employed. I almost usually don't recommend those products.
Right.
I try to look at the individual's situation and base it, deal with what I'm working with. So if we've got a self-employed borrower who writes off the majority of their stuff, and maybe they even show a negative income to no income on paper, but they have strong cash flow. They've got a lot of money coming in. Well, then we want to look at maybe a bank statement loan. That would be a better one. That way we don't have to use the tax returns, and we can just look at the bank statement options because we show that there's money. So it's just, it's all personalized to the individual. There's
Right.
not like a one size fits all. I think most people don't realize that there are literally hundreds of different loan programs available to individuals, like hundreds of different options. It's all about finding the right product for what fits for this client. It's not, oh, here's the product, let's fit you into it. No. Let's look at your situation and then find the right product that works for you. Now, let's talk about the affordability issue, especially in Arizona right now. I guess, what would you say to somebody that says it's unaffordable to buy a home right now?
Is it more affordable to rent a home? Because at that price, you're basically paying you're basically paying somebody's mortgage, right? And let's say the mortgage for the homeowner is $1,600. You're probably going to pay about $2,000, right?
Like I said, you're either paying your mortgage or someone else's, right?
It's the way it is.
Well, and here's my thought process, right? If you look at 10 years of paying rent, at the end of 10 years, what do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing. But if you're paying a mortgage for 10 years and you buy
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity.
That's the difference, right?
You know what I mean?
That's the difference.
So I bought my house.
Appreciating assets compared to
Exactly.
spending money.
Exactly. So I bought my house in 2014, right? For $169,000.
What's it worth today?
Almost 500.
Boom. Right? That's the difference. So, and that's the difference between homeownership, right? Like, that's why I'm such a believer in it, because again, I bought my first house at 23 years old, and that when I sold it, I made over $100,000, which allowed me to put a large down payment on a much more expensive house that I never would have been able to afford had I been renting that entire time frame, right?
Right.
That's why they say the average net worth of a homeowner is 40 times more than that of a renter. So it's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. But
Yeah, I don't get why people rent. I really don't.
I agree. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
No, yeah.
I mean, I think there's a time and a place for it, maybe, but it's almost always better to buy because of what it can do for you long-term financially.
I mean, but I guess it, like, if you can't qualify to own a home, you have to rent for a little bit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But things change.
It's part of it. But I think the goal should always be home ownership, right?
Right.
Like renting should just be a short-term game plan and not a lifelong way of living.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. Well, Amber, I appreciate you today.
Thanks for having me.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom for potential buyers out there?
Stay strong. Keep your credit up. Don't go buying any new cars. If you're considering buying a new home, don't open new credit cards. Just keep paying your debt off and living life simple.
And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you to buy, how would they do that?
You can call or text me at 480-417-8447.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.